Well, I had actually wanted to become a Polish citizen for a very long time, and it was just I wouldn't say I was lazy, but I was just thinking to myself, oh my God, it's such a rigmarole. How do you do it? I didn't know how to, basically, fundamentally, I wanted to become a Polish citizen, and I didn't know how. And so I just let it go. And I thought, well, someday, one day, one day. And then when I was here, the opportunity arose, and I managed to hire a company that specializes in dealing with expats and people like that. And they said it's not so difficult because when they found out that my parents were born and raised here and they were Polish citizens, I actually am a Polish citizen. And what I needed to do was to confirm it. So I had to gather the papers together and they had to go through the various steps. And it was, so once I had, somebody would do it for me and knew how to do it, and I could do it here and not do it in the United States and have to go to the consulate and do it by myself. And I knew that it was a confirmation of a citizenship that was mine already by virtue of my parents. There was something enormously appealing about it. So we did it, and the day that it was approved, and it was actually approved by the voivode here in Warsaw, just a block, 2 blocks away, and I got the paper, and it was a very just ordinary A4 paper with a stamp and the information, and I brought it to the office. Then I think the next day or a couple of days later, the whole team made me a surprise party, and they went ahead. It was very clever. They must have gone online. They found my signature. They found a photograph somewhere. They faked a Polish ID. They made a fake Polish ID. They took it to a baker who had a digital printer to print icing, and they made me like a humongous Polish ID cake with my picture, my signature, with everything that's like a real Polish ID, put 4 big sparklers in it, and I had no idea what was going to happen. I arrived, the lights are out, the sparklers are going, there are bouquets of flowers, there's a beautiful book gift that's in simple Polish that I'd be able to read by a very wonderful Polish graphic designer. And Staszek Krajewski, whom I've known since the late 70s, was there because he's on my team, and he made a beautiful speech. And I think what really was most moving to me was how much it meant to my colleagues, how much it meant to them. And then it took another year almost to get a passport because all the names didn't match on all the documents. But I finally got the passport in January, I think. I picked it up in January this year and traveled on it a month later to Moscow. And I traveled with my colleagues, and we all had Polish passports, including me. And when I had to fill out the little visa form, or whatever it is when you land, the landing document, it asked for nationality. And I had to say, hey, wait a minute. Ordinarily I would write USA, because I normally travel on an American passport, and I wrote down Poland. And that was sort of an amazing experience. And so first off, I felt like I was part of the deal, although I'm often reminded by one of my colleagues, Basha, I know you're a Polish citizen, but you may not understand that X, Y, and Z, because clearly it's not the same thing as being born and raised here. But it was a good experience, wonderful experience.